right here. This thing is absolutely insane. Like, to think about, he made this in his garage with not that much tools.
I mean, if you look at it, this thing is literally a tube chassis, which we looked at this video previously, and we were even thinking about, hey, we could have built that just a little bit better, like the frame wise, the chassis and stuff like that. But this guy does an amazing job on the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what we would have done different was we'd probably just grab a old chassis, like I want to do with that McLaren body. You know, you would just
put something on top of
exactly. So you're not wasting money, because McLaren probably spent, I'd say, $50 million developing all that.
Yeah.
So you'd keep all that, but you would just make the body a little bit different.
Yeah, and like, let's go to where he's making the body. This guy actually does a really good job. He molds it out of clay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, that's like what car manufacturers do on their first prototype. They'll actually have but nowadays they have a machine that cuts everything.
They actually still do it.
Some parts, yeah, the finishing, I think they like use whatever. Look, they even do the interior, and I think they overlay it with what, like fiberglass?
Yeah, these guys do it they overlay it in fiberglass, and then they take that out and then they make a mold.
Look at that, dude. That is insane. All fiberglass, which I got to give it to these guys, man.
Impressive word.
I don't know who did that, but it turns out to be a fairly decent looking kit car. Like, I'll pull that Factory 5 GTM body and put this Bugatti body on it, because it looks absolutely insane. Really good. Look, they make the whole interior. Like, how did these guys know what this interior looked like? How did they know the body lines?
It's all from pictures. That's the crazy thing about it. All from pictures. They do all this from pictures.
Look, cardboard, man.
It's wild.
I wonder if Bugatti actually said something to them, maybe email, but there's no emailing these guys. They just out in the middle of where?
I think
where are
this
they
is
from?
In Vietnam.
They're from Vietnam. They don't even care. Like, in America, you probably would never be able to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you called it a Bugatti. But I don't know if Bugatti would say. I know Ferrari probably would say
Ferrari
something.
would sue you right away. But look at that.
That is insane.
That's insane. Like, that looks amazing. And if we scroll to the end, when they actually paint this car and stuff, like, I don't know.
Wild.
That is just wild. And they make it look exact. I love that they use the blue. Oh my goodness. Like, look at that.
Cool.
Like, if anybody ever drove down the street and I just seen it from the street, I would automatically assume that's a sheer.
I mean, maybe after a couple double takes, you'd be like, maybe not. But I'd say the rear is what
they did a really good job on the headlights too. Because Bugatti has those square halos or whatever.
On this right here, it actually looks like a really good.
That
Bugatti.
looks like a Bugatti from the front, which is insane to think about. Like, that side shot right there.
That is
I would have fixed the mirrors a little bit, kind of pointed them down, straightened them out a little bit, but door handles.
But it's crazy. I mean, to think about, they made everything in their little garage. It's not like they have like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tools.
Look at that. I know, it's crazy. They built a Bugatti, and these people probably will like. Bugattis are expensive. Like it's like $2-3 million car. Like, some of these people will probably never buy one of these, but to make your own, to have that motivation, that's awesome. That's that car enthusiast inside you as a kid too. When you always see these cars around, these guys actually went out there, built their own prototype, and they're just cruising around the streets.
I mean, I guarantee him, like,
people are probably freaking out, dude. You got a sheer on.
I bet in 5 years these guys will be building some pretty cool kit cars, probably even for sale.
I believe he even built he's building a LaFerrari, which is absolutely insane. But that's the type of like motivation, like, people run off of when they like. That's when we started. I mean, we just started on regular cars, you know. One day we're going to be working on a Lamborghini, or like one day you'll fix a McLaren. You manifest that, you know. You're like,
just think about it in the back of your head every day.
Yeah, you manifest that.
Every time you're working at your boring, terrible job, just think about it. Like, one day, if I work hard, I can do it.
Manifest it. Put in the work. I mean, I always had in the back of my head, like, when I'm doing body work, I want to work on a supercar one day. The biggest supercar I ever worked on when I was younger was not even a supercar. It's just sports cars. Like,
yeah, I remember we had the 370Zs.
Yeah, we had Infiniti G35s. We had just regular stuff that we thought those were the coolest cars in the world.
And back then it was the coolest cars we had. Like,
they were fun cars. I mean, we had fun with them just like with any other car. But these guys, let's look at this Ferrari. Let's look at this Ferrari that they built. Skip it to the very end. They just make everything out of clay. Look at the headlights. They even build their own headlights,
the headlights
which
and
is
taillights
crazy,
is wild.
The steering wheel, it's all, dang.
That looks pretty freaking cool.
No way, dude. That actually looks like a LaFerrari, dude.
That's crazy. Every detail is almost there.
Like, I would love for these guys to be in America and like their shop down. Look at that.
That's awesome.
They build, like, they're not only building body parts, they're building their own headlights.
Electronics.
They're building their own. I think they're 3D printing all this stuff, right?
I think they started. That looks like it's 3D printed. The airbag. Yeah, it is 3D printed. You can see the lines.
So it's remote control because look, he's controlling the headlights with it.
Yeah, it is. It's probably Bluetooth.
That is insane. And like, to put a Ferrari emblem on there, like, ain't that kind of scary? You know what I mean? Like,
sued.
Ferrari sues anybody. That is insane, dude. Imagine though, if this guy, you know, made this car super perfect as he can, painted it, great paint job. I don't know. He's probably putting 4 cylinders in these cars, but if he put like a good V8 GM motor in there, twin turboed it, and you pull up to like an exclusive Ferrari meet, imagine, dude.
That'd be freaking hilarious.
That'd be the ultimate video, honestly. I would love to.
Because at first, most people wouldn't even know. They would just be like, oh, that's another Ferrari.
Yeah, it's crazy to even think about it. Let's skip to the very end. Does he paint this thing?
No, this one's in the final stage. But you can tell he's getting a lot better. Like, some of the body lines on this car look really good compared to like the Bugatti.
Yeah,
So
and like the headlights look even better. And like the doors, the way he has the doors opening
no,
like that.
That is hard to get even right.
You see all the like winglets on the doors. That's hard stuff to get with even fiberglass. Fiberglass is the hardest thing to work with. It's not like they have mold shooters where they're shooting this or
exactly,
they're vacuuming all the air out. They're all hand laying this stuff, hand sanding. You gotta give
them props for that.
Here soon, they can honestly build their own car. They can do their own design. That's how a lot of people start, is with fiberglass. That's how they
yeah, because it's the cheapest and it's probably the most effective. Like, even new cars have fiberglass. Like my McLaren doors, fiberglass.
Yeah,
it's a different process, of course, from this, but it's the same concept.
It's crazy. I mean, the Dodge Viper, it's all fiberglass. You know, the whole rear end is fiberglass. The tub is fiberglass. So if you get good at fiberglass, here soon they'll probably buy like a, what do you call that when you vacuum like carbon fiber out when you're building carbon fiber?
You vacuum it out and then you put it in an autoclave, so it kind of like pressurizes it and it cooks it, so you get insanely strong carbon fiber.
Imagine if these guys start learning how to do carbon fiber.
I mean, give them a couple years.
And they build a whole LaFerrari like raw carbon with clear.
That would be insane.
That'd be mind blowing. So those guys are, I think those are they're going in the right direction with like car wise. But like if you get it, like if you see some of their like chassis and stuff, there's a lot better ways you can go about it. But they're really good with like body work and stuff like that.
I'd say, I mean, they probably just need more money and time, you know.
Or if they hire somebody that's really good at building like chassis framework, dude, that'd be insane. But
so give them a little bit. Maybe next year we'll check in with them and see what they have going on.
But insane. The Bugatti is definitely a super crazy build that they did. The LaFerrari is something insane too that they're making. It's just like, that's insane crazy how they do stuff like that. But hey, people are out there with not, like, they own those cars and they build them themselves, which is just insane to even think about. But let's talk about, I think, probably the world's cheapest
Ford GT.
The world's cheapest Ford GT.
Yeah, I noticed you told me about the one on Copart.
Yeah, there's one on Copart right now, which is just, Copart lately has gotten some super epic cars because of the floods that came through. And it's a bad thing because it's all saltwater flood cars, but it allowed a big open market for anybody that can't afford a brand new Koenigsegg's. They can't afford a brand new Bugatti. A Bugatti just recently sold, which is insane. But that one was actually not a flood. It was burned. Some rapper or whatnot had it burned, like the front end, which that thing sold for what, like,
I think 1.2 million.
1.2 million,
which is a deal.
It was a Chiron. That thing is worth like 3 million or something like that. And then the P1 McLaren that just sold that Tavares apparently bought is another car.
That thing is kind of destroyed though.
Scary car. I cannot believe.
Scary car.
I read some of his comments. People are like, "You're insane. I can't believe you're doing this. This is gonna take years." Saltwater. Nobody knows.
Well, the thing with that car is it was sitting in salt water for like...
It floated.
Saltwater, yeah, it was floating and the windshield cracked. Saltwater, I wouldn't say is too bad if it doesn't sit for long.
Yeah, but I believe that even if you say you got a electrical component like a computer and saltwater splashes on it and you wipe it off right away, it's still ruined. It'll start eating it. I don't know. I mean,
I'll tell you, like, the reason why salt water actually ruins electrical components, well, I think I read this somewhere, is saltwater has minerals in it, which the minerals actually, they'll conduct electricity. Like freshwater, you can pour fresh water on some stuff and it won't do anything.
Yeah.
But saltwater has minerals on it. And I actually had this case, I once bought a speedometer from a Dodge Ram, and it was fully submerged, I think, in salt water.
Oh, man.
And like, I took it apart, cleaned it with alcohol, cleaned everything up with brushes. I put it in the truck. It turned on, but only like couple letters were showing. So I redid the process a couple times, got it perfectly clean, and it worked perfectly. So there is ways to actually save a saltwater damaged component, as long as it's not burnt up. Like sometimes it will burn up if somebody tried starting it with.
Or if there's a battery in it, and like a good battery, and the car starts doing random stuff, it'll start shorting motherboards out and stuff like that, burning like stuff. And that McLaren, it was floating. There's videos out there floating and stuff like that. And the McLaren, the thing is about McLaren, electrical stuff, very hard to work with. I mean, newer cars in general, electrical stuff, super hard to work with. But a P1 is nothing that you can just easily go buy parts for. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless I'm kind of thinking some parts might transfer into, like, I'd say maybe into like the MP12C, because that's right around the same time they were made.
So they maybe have the same computer modules,
maybe like
stuff like that. But hopefully, like a dash, a digital dash, probably comes from one of those other McLarens. I'm sure it does, but I don't know. Is it all carbon fiber? Because carbon fiber is it safe on salt water?
I think it is. It depends. Maybe if it like sat for a while, it wouldn't be bad. But no, because like boats are made out of like fiberglass, and it's like kind of the same resins.